Hello everybody, ready for a Flosstube? I don't even know which number this is. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in the title down below. Welcome to my Flosstube. I'm Amy. I'm Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. Welcome to all of you who are either coming back or joining me for the first time. I'm very happy to have you all here. I haven't been here in a while. You might notice my voice is a little scratchy today. My whole family has had this really, not COVID, but still pretty severe virus going through it. Pretty sure it's RSV. We weren't tested for it because the doctor said they're not gonna, they wouldn't, our doctor, like our pediatrician, only tests us for these things if the answer would affect how they treat us, which I totally understand. So they didn't, test us for RSV. But I'm the last in the family to get it, helped everybody else through it. Now it's me. And I'm actually on an upswing, but as I'm listening to myself talk, I can definitely tell my voice is a little off and I feel a little stuffy. So I apologize if that is bothering any of y'all today. I haven't been here for a regular Flosstube in a little while, so I have a ton of projects to show you, and I can't even show you all of them that I've been working on, but I do have a lot to show you. Mostly cross-stitching, a little bit of other stuff, but mostly cross-stitching, including a couple finishes, small finishes, but still they're finishes, I'll take them. Yeah, so I haven't, my stitchy bug's been weird lately. So most of you know, I think, at this point, that Maggie, Kitschy Whips, and I are putting together a cross-stitch retreat, the Queen City Stitch Retreat in North Carolina, October of 2023. Many of you have signed up for it. So since I last filmed a Flosstube, we had the official sign-ups for the retreat. So that took a lot of my time, just doing that. Maggie and I definitely are like division of labor, this retreat thing. She's much more like social media savvy, like does Facebook, is on it all the time, knows how to find things, totally into it. I'm not as well versed in those things, and I'm awful at checking Facebook. So Maggie's been doing a lot more of that. She's also like the idea person. She comes up with the best ideas for this retreat. I can't wait for y'all to see the things she's come up with and to actually do this, because she's just like creativity gone wild in her brain. I think I'm more mundane. So I've been doing like the data entry, and I did the actual picking of people for the retreat. So that just took a large part of my time. And I am repeating myself a little bit if you watched my last Stitch With Me, but I know Stitch With Me's, some people love them, but generally they're not very popular. So I might be repeating myself for some of you who watched that Stitch With Me. But yeah, so that was just enormously time consuming for the first couple of weeks at least, to be first data entry of everybody's name. Please excuse the sniffles. Then going through and picking everybody. I did do everybody via lottery. Part of the reason I'm talking about this is because I've had some of the same questions repeating, and I want to answer some of those questions. One of those questions was, where am I on the wait list? I've gotten several of those questions. So let me just explain. So everybody, we told you guys if you signed up in the first 24 hours, you'd be entered into a lottery for a spot in the retreat. That still holds true. So I have the list of attendees, which is 144 people. And then we also have a list of waitlist people. I have the waitlist divided into two groups. I have people who registered by 10 a.m. on the 2nd, and I have the people who registered after 10 a.m. on the 2nd. If you registered by 10 a.m. on the 2nd, you're still, like, you're just a group. When I go to pull somebody off the wait list, I do a random number generator. Like, I entered you in order onto an Excel spreadsheet, so they're numbered like 1 through whatever, and then I do a random number generator to pull a number out of that group. So you still have like an equal chance of getting in, but I'm not going to the trouble of ordering you yet. I will order you as I need to. So if you're in that group, you have still have an equal chance of getting pulled in if a slot opens, and I would stay pretty hopeful that slots might open. We've already had quite a lot of turnover. I've already had to pull quite a lot of people off the wait list. So anyway, remain hopeful if you're on the wait list, please. Other thing that's come up. So this retreat is organized and planned entirely by Maggie and I. We have a little help, okay, don't get me wrong. We have some vendors coming. Of course, there's help there, you know, throwing ideas around and stuff. So there's help. I'm not trying to say there's no help. But Maggie and I are the hosts. Nora Corbett is our guest. She's there as a guest. She's very graciously agreed to attend the retreat, to do a Q&A session with us. She'll sign things for people. You're welcome, if you're coming, you're welcome to start thinking about what you want to bring to be signed. But I'm going to tell you, don't bring everything. Okay? I don't know if we'll formally limit it or if we will just jump in if we need to, if somebody's gone overboard. But when you're thinking of things to bring to have her sign, be thinking about like 1 or 2 things to have her sign. If somebody brings their entire collection, mine are over there, you can see part of them. If somebody brings their entire collection of Mirabilias, no. Everybody has some equal access to Nora, okay? But you can start thinking about 1 or 2 things to have her sign. She's gonna be bringing some of her artwork to sell. Really big news, she has designed a special retreat pattern for us. Yay! Free pattern. It's going to be released to everybody eventually. Like, if you're familiar with her, with the website and with her freebie and retreat patterns in the past, she'll provide them to the retreat and then later they're released online as a free pattern for everybody. I believe that's how it's going to be done this time as well. But this is a beautiful pattern. Maggie and I just got it about a week ago. No one else is going to see it. There's going to be no spoilers, I think, as far as I know. No spoilers until the retreat. It's going to be a surprise when you show up at the retreat. But I think you guys are going to love it. I think you're going to be thrilled. It is a significant pattern, like size-wise and detail-wise. It's beautiful. I think you guys are going to love it. Maggie and I haven't worked out all the details of exactly how we'll do it, but don't worry. You will know what to bring with you if you want to start the retreat piece at the retreat by the time we get there, okay? Well, don't worry about that. What else about the retreat? Yeah, I guess I just want to reiterate, so Nora's a guest. So any questions you have about the retreat, keep sending them to Maggie and I. I think we're pretty accessible. I have to admit, I do take a day or 2 off from checking our retreat email every once in a while because sometimes it's a little overwhelming with a lot of people. But, you know, keep them coming. Instagram, I get a notification if you message me, so that's a good way to get a hold of me. You can email, especially if you don't need an answer like right that second. We're very responsive on Instagram. Maggie's really responsive on Facebook. And you can email if it's not like an urgent, you know, thing. Although I wouldn't think it would be anything urgent. Hotel-wise, I'm pretty sure the hotel's pretty booked up at this point. At the discounted rate. You can still book a room at the hotel at the regular rate, okay? But also keep in mind, I know some people feel like the hotel's pretty expensive. I totally get that. You don't have to stay at the retreat hotel, right? The stitching room is going to be open for huge blocks during the day, but we don't have like things going on there overnight. So you're welcome to stay at another nearby hotel and come over for the retreat. That's pretty common, I believe, at other retreats too. I'm not going to go into the whole hotel spiel, but that I did on you can go watch my Stitch With Me or listen to it while you're doing dishes or something if you want to hear the whole hotel spiel. But the hotel is beautiful, but you don't have to stay there. You can stay somewhere else. Charlotte's a big enough city. It's got tons of places to stay. Maggie has pointed out that there is a NASCAR race there that weekend, though. which was like a blast from the past. So I used to live in South Carolina. I used to live in Columbia, South Carolina for, I mean, a decent bit of my life, like 5-6 years. I don't think I'd thought about NASCAR for like a decade until Maggie pointed out the race. And I was like, oh yeah, that's like a thing that you have to worry about when you live down there. Forgot about that. Anyway, so don't wait till the last minute to book a hotel if you're coming. What else? Oh, so I keep like cutting my own self off. Yeah, so Nora's a guest, which means she doesn't even know, like, she doesn't know the stuff Maggie and I know, right? She just doesn't because she's a guest. She's very kindly agreed to come and participate, and I think she's really excited about it. And to design a retreat pattern and all these things. But like, she doesn't know details about like the hotel and like booking and when's this or that and where am I on the wait list, right? She's not involved. She has no idea. So yeah, she's our guest. So questions really should come to Maggie and I so that we can, you know, get you those answers. Honestly, I don't want Nora having to worry about like passing messages along to us and stuff. Let her just, you know, be a guest and enjoy herself, just like all of y'all are going to enjoy yourselves. And okay, I think that's basically retreat news. Other than the fact that, so the retreat also did something weird to my stitchy bug, I think. I was so buried in Mirabilia for weeks that I kind of didn't like feel like stitching on my Mirabilias. Or at least, like, there's certain, I think I've been, it's not even just the signups. I think I had gotten into such a mentality of, like, what Mirabilias can I finish before the retreat to, like, bring to the brag table, that I didn't want to do it anymore. If that makes sense. Like, I was too focused for a while there on wanting to get some Mirabilias done. And you guys know I have a ton of whips, right? I have almost 70 Mirabilia Nora Corbett whips, but I have at least that many, probably more, other whips too from other designers of all different kinds. And I want to stitch on those things too, and I don't want to just be focused on like what can I get done for the retreat. My like planning brain would kind of get ahead of me and like, oh, if I'm really good, I could stitch this and this and this and this and this. The problem is I'm not that kind of stitcher. I'm not a like one at a time stitcher. I like doing a million different things. I don't like having to like buckle down and focus on something. So I was kind of forcing it for a little while, and then I was like, nope, stop. So I just stepped back, and I've just been like doing a lot of going through my stash and like working on smalls, making little gifts for people, working on things for smalls exchanges and stuff. I've been doing some other stuff. So I haven't seen you guys in, I think, over a month. Like, well over a month. So I still have a ton of Mirabilias to show you today. But I got a lot of other weird stuff, too. And some stuff I can't show you because I'm doing them as gifts. I have a gift it's a small thing, but the gift I've been making for somebody. So I don't want to show you that because I think they watch my Flosstube. I can't show you the retreat piece that I've been stitching because that's a surprise. But when Nora gave that to me and to Maggie and I like a week ago, I immediately was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I've been stitching that a lot. I also have a piece for my husband, and my husband sometimes watches my Flosstubes. So I can't show you that yet either. But I still have tons. You can't see it, but like my lap is full of project bags. So we're 14 minutes and I haven't even shown you any stitching. So we're gonna get started. Here's Miss Freya. She needs to curl up and be part of the video. Okay, I'm gonna show you two finishes first. I did do the Kit and Caboodle Sal for October, but I picked a really tiny kit. I love this so much. This little kit, and I don't have the chart. I already put like the chart where I put all of my stitched materials and whatnot. So I had to put the chart away, but if anybody wants to know what this is, let me know, and I'll dig out the information for you. So the kit came with the owl and pumpkin. It came with everything. It came with everything. The spool and all of it. And I mean, it's a very simple chart, right? It's just some pumpkins. And I added my initials and the date like I usually do. So this was a really quick, easy, fast stitch. I really wanted to do something for Halloween this year. I should say today is Halloween. Excuse me, today is October 31st, 2022. I really wanted to do something for Halloween, but knew I didn't have a lot of time or focus to do something. This totally fit the bill. It was a really quick and easy stitch. I did not finish it the way the instructions said to finish it. The instructions included a lot of glue. I avoid glue if at all possible when I'm doing any sort of finishing with handwork, like with quilting or, you know, piecing or cross stitch. I'm just like morally opposed. All of you who use glue on your own pieces, you go for it, you rock it out. I know it's really common. For me personally and my stitching, I don't want glue coming anywhere near it if at all possible. So I actually finished this differently than how they suggested. And it worked out great. Honestly, I think it was less finicky than glue to use thread. So it came with the DMC to make the cording. Sorry, it's not focusing great. It came with a DMC to make the cording at the top and the bottom. And what I did, so this was already just a band of fabric. What I did was I just used some thread to like couch down the cording at the top and the bottom. And then I folded under and overlapped the edges. And I just like, I know you can see it. I could have used a natural colored thread if I wanted it hidden. I didn't mind it being seen because of the style of the piece. I just did these simple kind of big like whip stitches to hold them down. I mean, that's at the back. And that's it. And no glue required. I like that little guy. So he's done. I'll find some place nice to put him. I also finished this. This was a heartstring samplery pattern, I believe called Love and Joy. You can get it as a download off of her website, I believe. That's how I did it. I like her website, and I've said before, like, so I'm not like a huge samplery person. I'm not a huge reproduction samplery person. I have some that I like, but it's not like my main focus like it is for a lot of people. For some reason, heartstring samplery, I love her patterns. Like when I am doing a sampler, it's almost always heartstring samplery. I like her stuff. Anyway. I started this last year and tried to get it done for a friend in time for Christmas. Didn't make it, but I pulled it out this year when I was in my, like, I just need to do something other than Mirabilia kind of funk for a while. And I think I just needed to finish up this flower down here. And there was something else. Oh, and Joy. I needed to, I think, add the OY, and I needed to finish up this flower down here, and that was all it needed. So I finished that up, and I think I'm just going to make that into a little pillow for my friend and her family for Christmas this year. So not FFO'd, but it is finished. I'm very happy about it. I used the funky green fabric. I think this is a 40 count. Might be 36, but I think it's a 40 count. And I used a red. I just pulled a red from my stash of fancy floss. If anybody really wants to know what they are, I can look them up for you. Okay, I'm gonna save that till later. I did a little bit. Oh, I didn't pull up the pattern. This is a Bent Creek, I believe. This is one of their alphabet rows, and this one has gnomes in it, even though I haven't stitched any of the gnomes yet. I just did a little bit on that. I'm doing this for my husband, but it's not a secret. Made a little bit of progress. I'd like to get more progress on that, though. I decide where to put things when I'm done with them to get them out of my way. I also stitched on this Lizzie Kate. It's called Promise Me. It has that quote. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard it. Promise me you'll always remember you're braver than you believe and stronger than you seem and smarter than you think. Oh, I have all my, I'm using mostly called for fancy floss, but I also pulled from my stash some. And this is, I believe, a hand-dyed by Rolanda fabric. You can get her fabrics on Etsy. I'm a huge fan. I love hand-dyed by Rolanda. So this is where I am. I've just worked on this a little bit. I actually have 2 projects in this project bag. I have this one, which I'm doing for my son, my middle child. This quote's like kind of sappy, I guess, but my middle child is also someone who needs to really hear it. Those of you who have kids, especially if you have like multiple kids, they're all so different, right? Like they're just all different and they need different things. And my middle child is definitely the person who needs this. He will benefit from this explicit reminder that we believe in him and that he's awesome. So anyway, that's why I'm stitching that for him. And I want to work on this. I want to make some progress now. And I'm just going to show you this because it's in here. I have also barely started, but I want to work more on this Dear Daughter from Blackbird Designs. I have this pulled out to do for my daughter. Oh, I don't want to show the chart. Sorry. Not trying to show the chart. I've got all the fancy floss pulled for it. So that's also on my list to work on here, is to continue working on Promise Me and to also make progress on Dear Daughter. Trying to put everything away relatively neatly. One goes back there. We'll do this one next. So this is, I pulled up some pictures for you guys. If I can get to it. I couldn't find my iPad this morning because my husband very helpfully had moved it. So Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, and she has a brick and mortar store called Stitch New England. Well, it's also an online store. You can order from her online. She holds a fancy folk Zoom once a month that I participate in when I can. And I'm stitching this from Joan Elliott, Sleeping Beauty. And I only work on this really when I'm in that Zoom. And I'm actually pretty happy with the progress being made. I've been stitching this in hand. Well, that thread's just going to be in the way. I've been stitching this in hand, but poke and stab. And I'm really enjoying it. And considering that I'm stitching it while like chatting with people and only once a month, I feel like I'm making decent progress. Okay. We're just going to keep going in order. Whatever bag is on the top. So this is, I call her Trinket Mermaid. This is a Mirabilia. It's MD, notebook number 126. MD 126. She's unusual for, at least for Mirabilia Mermaid, because she's got all those gorgeous yellows and oranges and reds in her. She's very pretty. Here am I. This is so wrinkled. Ooh, the fabric's not as dark as it's showing up there. It's it is a very deep blue, but it's not. Oh, that's better. If I pull it back, that's a little bit better. Well, a little bit better. There's my Trinket Mermaid. She's the one that has a different name, but I call her Trinket Mermaid. So she's coming along. I went up here and started working more on the top and on this border up here. She'll get done eventually. Been having fun working with her. This fabric is from Country Stitch, which is, I always second guess myself, but I'm pretty confident it's a New Zealand dyer. And they are probably my favorite fabrics. If I had to pick one to order from for forever, It's a little tight now that there's so many more amazing dyers out there, but Country Stitch might be my top choice. So it was also Maggie's birthday, Kitschy Whips' birthday, a week and a half ago, if that's right. So I started, she started too. I finally started Villa Mirabilia. You guys have heard me talk about, this is what I was stitching in my, I think this might be what I was stitched in my Stitch for Me, a Stitch With Me. Isn't that embarrassing? I don't remember, I think it was this that I was stitching in my Stitch With Me. I think I started her. Yeah, I totally started her. So yeah, finally started Villa Mirabilia. Haven't really made any more progress on it. This is a color and cotton fabric. Make sure I know which way I'm going. There we go. So tiny start. I don't think I've gotten any more done than what I had in the video, in the Stitch With Me video. That's a needle minder from Clay by Kim. Yeah, so I'm thrilled to finally have it started. This one waited on me making a fabric choice for so dang long, and then just not starting it because I have a million other things to stitch. And so I wasn't getting to it, even though if I had to pick one Mirabilia as my favorite, that's it. I made a little bit of progress on I made some good progress on Damask Roses. Again, sorry for the sniffles and for the hanging threads. I'm not going to take this out of the Q-Snap because I like where it is right now. But I made some progress on this. I did some more of like the golden colors, and I did a lot in here. Yeah, just more progress on this. Some of the greens. Just still trying to work pretty steadily on this one. But this is one that I was kind of like hyper focused on, and like I needed to pull back. I might not get any more Mirabilias done between now and the retreat, but that's okay. I need to chill out. I don't have to get all of the Mirabilias done in the next year or any of them. Right, I say that, but there's actually one that I think I will get done. At least it's very likely. And that is Garden Beauty. The reason I think this one is going to get done is because I'm stitching this with Lisa, Crossed by Floss. She, it's like really blowing that out. Okay, you get the idea. She and I get together usually once a week. We miss some weeks here and there, but usually once a week. And she has a new Flosstube up. I started yesterday and didn't get to finish. I need to go look at it. She and I get together usually once a week over Zoom and work on Garden Beauty together. So this is where I am. So the reason I think this one will be done is, so I've never timed myself, but I remember back in the old days of the Mirabilia bulletin board, the general consensus, I guess, was that it would take like 150 to 200 hours, depending on the design and the stitcher, to stitch a Mirabilia. I think some fast stitchers get them done much faster, but I'm not a fast stitcher. So we're going through 150 and 200 hour estimate. So doing the math and knowing how long Lisa and I stitched together, we should be able to finish this before the retreat. So like pretty easily, because we sometimes stay on Zoom for a very long time. So anyway, here's my Garden Beauty, and I love her. And I've heard some people express disappointment recently with the colors in her, like on their own whips, that the colors don't match the chart. I have noticed with her that there are two different, there's two different cover photos for her. And one of them in particular is very off of the colors. Anyway, if you're thinking of stitching her, this is what she looks like. Obviously I haven't backstitched the face yet. I've gotten some of the skin done. I'm really excited to go down to the dress. The top half where I've been working has most of the confetti. You know, it's very confetti heavy with the face and the hair and all of this, and she's holding a bunch of flowers. So there's like a lot of confetti going on, for Mirabilia. And then the bottom becomes much more like block color stitching. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited to get her done. Sorry if my dog, I think my dog is barking at our dishwasher. I don't know if you can hear it, but our dishwasher is running, and every once in a while I can hear like a little knock of something in there, and my dog's barks seem to be coinciding with those knocks. I think she is barking at the dishwasher. That's okay. Knock it off. No more barking. Yeah, go back to sleeping. Okay, this is another one. I don't know if I've made progress on this since I last showed it to you or not, but I'm going to show you anyway. This is Garden Muses. It's definitely on my radar. I've been wanting to work on this lately. This is an older one. This is MD44. And I have some of the other half done, but not very much. Or I should say some of the center of the design done. But I've made a little progress on her. There's a lot of skin to do, a lot of dress to do. She's just wearing kind of like a taupe dress. She's just a relaxing stitch. I know I get very like soothing, relaxing vibes working on her. Maybe because there's so many big blocks of color, I'm not sure. But I'm hoping to work on her some more too. What else? So Pam from Stitching the Land of Good Enough, she also does a Hawk Run Hollow Zoom. I have just stuff all over. I need to clean up my stitchy spot. She does a Hawk Run Hollow Zoom once a month too. And I've been working on just one block from the Farms of Hawk Run Hollow. This is the apple butter block. And this is actually the only block I'm planning to do at the moment. I don't know if I'll eventually stitch the whole piece or not. This is a 40 count scrap of linen I had from Seraphim. I'm doing this for my husband's aunt. She makes us apple butter. And the men in my family love her apple butter. Like, they can't get enough. So this won't be going to her this Christmas, which is fine. I made her a quilt this summer. She doesn't need multiple handmade gifts the same year. I need to spread them out. Hopefully by next Christmas, this block will be done. Because obviously I don't have very much done of it yet. Yeah, I saw this and immediately was like, oh, Aunt Becky needs the apple butter block. And I'll just finish it into a little pillow for her. I also have I've kitted up the map of Hawk Run Hollow. And that is what I am going to start stitching next when I'm done with the apple butter block for the Hawk Run Hollow Zooms. I'm going to start on the map. Okay. I also started, pardon me a minute while I get a sip of water. Thank you. I also started, this isn't going to be as long as I feel like I do this every video. I'm like, it's not going to be that long. I'm doing fine. And then like an hour later, like, oh, it's really long. I started this, Casting a Spell from Blackbird Designs. I'm guessing most of you have seen this before. It's adorable. I really, really like it. My chart, so I know most of you probably know this. You have to be careful what you put against these vinyl covers because paper ink can kind of come off. That's what happened to this. It came off. Like, I don't know if you can see, there's like little bits kind of pulled off of my cover. It's from that. I am doing this with fancy floss of my own choosing. And mine's going to be a bit more colorful. So this one is all like rusty oranges and blacks and some tans or browns. I need to get a ring to put these on because this is ridiculous. I'll just throw it in here. I did get a Crescent Colors, which is now Classic Colorworks, right? Okay, hold on a minute. I'll explain that in a minute. So I pulled some Victoria Mottos, and basically I just pulled this big, I pulled a palette. I want mine to be more colorful than what is given. So I went to my Victoria Motto stash and pulled just a bunch of what to me read as Halloween-y colors that I think will, you know, cover all the things that I'm stitching. And I have it in mind, like kind of what I want stitching, what I want to stitch with what. I didn't have a black from Victoria Motto. And let me say, so my Victoria Motto I bought on Etsy. So it's like ready to ship. I don't think I'm buying from Victoria Motto anymore. The flosses are beautiful, but where's the one that this is the one that I've started stitching with. It's like purples and blue. It's stunning. For like I'm not usually a highly variegated person, but this is beautiful. I really, really like it. This one's called My Tapestry. I don't know, some of the stuff I've heard about Victoria Motto lately, I'm not in love with. Their customer service, I'm not in love with some of what I'm hearing, but also I'm hearing like they don't send out, there were issues with the Floss Club. Anyway, I've been making it a point in recent months not to order from them anymore, even though it's very tempting. I didn't have a black from them. I'm weird and I like staying within the same dyer when I'm working on a project. It's not like an absolute rule, but like if I can, I do. So I pulled my all Victoria Motto and then took a look and was like, I don't have an actual black. So I went and grabbed this class. Well, mine is a Crescent Colors, which is now Classic Colorworks, right? And it's black coffee. So, and it's kind of a vintagey black, right? It's not like a true black, which is what I would want for this. I'm pretty sure this is left over from my Halloween fairy. You know those, Nora Corbett did 6 of those seasonal fairy kits, or holiday fairy kits. There's Easter and the Valentine's Day and Christmas and New Year's and Halloween. What am I missing? Am I missing one? Thanksgiving. She did those. The only one I finished is the Halloween fairy, and I'm pretty sure that's also why this is Crescent Colors, is because this is the leftover from that kit. I don't know that you needed to know that or like wanted to know that, but oh, I need to show you the actual stitching. I'm like packing up. I didn't show you my stitching. I barely got started. So this is a piece of 30 count antique lamb's wool linen. And I just got started on one of the blocks using the My Tapestry. And I love the way it's coming out. And I'm using one strand. You know, Mirabilia's, of course, I always use 2, well, of course, some people don't, but I always use 2 strands. One strand, I like the way it looks sewing method, and it's much faster. And for something like this, I feel like that look of seeing more of the fabric is appropriate, like that more primitive look. So it's the one that I started is this block here. And yeah, I like the way it looks with one strand. So even on the 30 count. Pack this away so I don't lose track of the charts. Okay, something else I made a little bit of progress on. Oh, I didn't pull up a picture of this one. This is Nora Corbett's Bella Rose. She has 2 designs, each, or 2 patterns. Each pattern has 2 designs in it. Each one is a woman's head. That sounds kind of creepy. But it's a woman's face. That doesn't sound better. A woman's face with like a floral background behind it. And sorry for the hanging thread, but this is Bella Rose. And this is small, so like this is as far over as it goes. So this is as far as you know, Nora Corbett goes. This is a small. There's my Bella Rose. It's just her hair and some leaves. The design is actually, I believe, full coverage, or very nearly so. I think it is full coverage. I'm not doing full coverage, so you, in the pattern you're supposed to stitch in this like blue background. I just chose a blue hand dyed that I thought would look good. And I'm probably going to do the other one also. I have plenty of room on this fabric. I think this is a 32 count. It's probably left over from, it was left over from something else. So I'll probably do the other one from the same pattern on here. So there's that. There's so much going on over here. All right, I worked on red. I am not going to dig out her cover picture. Here's my red. And I've got a lot going on of the dress or the cape down lower too. But I didn't really do that blue dress initially. I kind of ignored it, the light grayish blue dress. So I got this out. Sorry, I have an itch on my chin. Yeah, I got this out and started going on her. I think rather than focusing so much on Damask Roses, I think I need to spread that focus out a little bit and bring out this one and Titanium more also, because I think that's going to make me a lot happier. And those are 3 Mirabilias that I have. They're not close to a finish, but they have significant stitching done on them, right? And I have some hanging threads on her because there's some back stitch and stuff that needs to go in. But I love her and I want her hanging at my cabin. So there's red. And I also pulled out, I don't know if I have the chart handy. I don't. I'm not going to bother. So this is Titania that I've been working on. And I pulled her out recently, and it seemed like I was flying. This is going to be hard to show since it's on black. It's going to, yeah, I can't, like, it's going to blow everything out. I remember having this problem before. I started working a lot more over here, and I only worked on her for a day or two. I felt like I got a ton done. It's just blowing all of this white. Well, it's not white, that's my point, I guess. It's blowing all of that out. There's several like light shades of pink and white in there, and it's really wanting to blow them out because of the black fabric. But this is her lap. That's some significant stitching I've gotten done. There's a whole group of people doing this on Instagram that I joined in with, and I want to start making more progress on this, in part because it's on black fabric. And my eyesight is not going to last forever. And black's already pretty difficult, so gotta work on that. Another one to show you is my chatelaine. So chatelaine Wednesdays, started by Maggie and I. The chatelaine that I usually work on is Egypt Mandala Garden. And I'm working, because I'm me and I jump all over the place, I feel like everyone else I see, they're very cautiously do like the center and they work out in section. I don't do that. I have been, it's like the center, if you can see there's kind of like a plus sign there and there. That's where I've been working and kind of spread out over that whole area. But lately I have started trying to focus a little bit more on the middle. It's like the most dense over one stitching in the whole thing. But I want to get some beads in. I really want to get some beads in, and if I can finish that very center, then there's a lot of beading in it that I can do. Also, I always stitch, here I'll hold up the stitching so you can see it while I'm gabbing away. I always, I do Krynic after DMC and silks and things. So I'm gonna hold this up for a minute and then I'm gonna put it down because I feel weird talking with you guys, can't see my face. So I did a lot in the center this time. I did some stuff elsewhere as well, but I did a lot in that center. So Krynic, generally the wisdom is that you put in all the other fibers first, and this would go for petite treasure braid and stuff too, that you put in metallics last. The reason for that is that they are rough and can be sharp to the other threads. So if you put in a line of Krynic and then you're stitching DMC or even silk next to those stitches, every time you drag your thread against one of those Krynic stitches, you're gonna be roughing up your thread. You're gonna be abrading it, and it's gonna lose some of its smoothness and some of its luster. So that's why Krynic goes in last, because that way it's only rubbing against an edge of your thread that isn't seen, because it's like the thread is already in the stitch, so the Krynic's only catching on like the edge of the stitch that's between fabric threads that isn't going to be seen. So that's why I was trying to get all of that silk in that needed to go near that center before I put that Krynic in. So I mentioned this to a couple people on Zooms recently, but I'm very curious, and I'd love for you guys, if you have experience with it, to put your experiences or your comments down below. There's a ton of this teal Gloriana in here. This shade that's in the middle, and it's also these like stems, and it's further out as well. It's like down here. There's tons of that shade. I don't remember what it's called. I want to say it's Tropical Sea, but I might be wrong. I hate Gloriana. The colors are stunning, but I'm having a very hard time working with it, especially that Tropical Sea color. There's lumps in it. It's shredding, and I'm working with shorter strands, but it's shredding. It's coming apart. It feels crunchy and rough. All of the Glorianas I've worked with are that way to a certain extent, but this Tropical Sea is a mess. And I'm also worried about running out of it. You can't get, Glorianas right now. Even if I got one, it would be a different dye lot. So like a vastly different dye lot, because I did order this like 10 years ago, or more. It was more than 10 years ago. That shouldn't have affected the thread though. Like just age alone. I have plenty of fibers in this house that are older than that, and fabrics and silk fabrics and fibers, and they're still beautiful. So that alone shouldn't have done it. I don't know what the deal is. Some people recently were telling me like, yeah, that's not their experience of Glorianas. I think I'm happy to hear that. It's just frustrating trying to work with this fiber, and it feels miserable. I don't know what's going on with the one that I have. Most of my silk experience is with water lilies from working on Mirabilia designs, and those are so beautiful. They are so soft and drapeable and lustrous and just wonderful to work with. I've also worked in silks from Be Stitch Me and Hand Dyed by Rolanda, which I like. I wouldn't put them up there with like water lilies in terms of like softness and drapeability and just gloriousness to work with, but they're still lovely. But then this Gloriana is like awful. I'm hating it. And again, I want to say, apparently my experience based on the few people I've spoken to is not normal. So I'm not like trying to put you all off of Gloriana. And the colors are beautiful, but like my skeins are not going well. And I thought maybe it's just the way Gloriana, you know, maybe that's just the way Gloriana is. I did splurge over the course of several months on the NPIs to stitch Map of Hawk Run Hollow, which I said I'd be doing once I'm done with the apple butter block from Farms of Hawk Run Hollow. I got the NPIs and I was putting them on floss drops the other night, and those feel just like the water lilies. They are so soft. They just feel so light and drapeable and soft and lovely and wonderful. And it got me really thinking, like, what is up? Because I was thinking maybe water lilies were the outlier, that they were like so amazing. But no, NPIs feel just like the water lilies. For all I know, they're the same base silk. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know what's up. And I don't know. But I'd like to hear other people's experiences. If you have experience with Glorianas, good or bad, let me know. And if there's, I mean, I'm wondering if storage does have something to do with it, right? I'm wondering if any of you are like, well, yeah, I kept my Gloriana in the floss away bags. They came in from European Cross Stitch for a dozen years and they felt crunchy and awful. But I had gotten new Glorianas and they feel great. Let me know, because maybe the plastic and off-gas, I've talked about before, can affect the colors of things. I've never heard about it affecting the color of floss, but of course, I do know it affects fabric, hand-dyed fabric. In theory, it could affect floss as well. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But if any of y'all have any experience or information to share on that, I'd love to hear it. All right, just a little bit of other stuff. I did start the other night. I've had this for ages. I love this little berry. I've never done a berry before, but I want to. I think they're adorable. And I have some baskets in our cabin that I've started storing little stitch pieces in. So I think this would be great for in those baskets. I actually have this twice. I have this one, which is the linen one, and I have the one for silk gauze. And I really want to do the silk gauze one too, but I'm going to do this one first. So I just got started. Oh, it's this way. This is J linen. It's not the called for linen. This is J from Picture This Plus. I don't buy Picture This Plus anymore. But, oh, I'm going to need to pause for 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that like weird cut. And I do know how to smash two clips together, but you guys know I don't really edit. I've found it very difficult, and at this point in my life, these videos aren't going to get done if I have to learn how to do a lot of editing. I got a call for a job. I'm going to work tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see how my ankle does. It should be fine. I'm only going to work a half day. For those of you who might be new, I'm a substitute teacher. I used to teach full-time. I'm a sub now. My ankle is feeling a lot better, and thank you to all of you who continue to send me well wishes and ask how my ankle's doing. My ankle's doing better than the rest of my body. You know, I lost all of that muscle in my left leg. Like, right, it was just gone after laying in bed for 7 weeks, completely laying in bed, and then another 3 weeks mostly laying in bed. All of it was gone. But so the ankle's holding up pretty well, but I also have arthritis other places. I have the surgery on my ankle was for arthritis. I have bad knees too, which my knees don't usually bother me though. But once all that muscle is gone that supported the arthritic knee, now my knee really hurts. So it'll be fine. I'll get back into it. I'm strong. I love working out. It'll be fine. But anyway, that's fine. So we're going to see tomorrow how my leg does after 4 hours with kindergartners. How's that sound? Anyway, this is the like Yikes Berry. I'm stitching it, I think, with called for or mostly called for flosses. This really bright green is Absinthe. How perfect is that as a name for a floss? Put that away so I don't lose it. So yeah, I just got started. So I also, another thing that I did was sign up for the Jingle Ball. If you don't know what the Jingle Ball is, go check out Stephanie Lindy Stitches, Stephanie Webb, her Instagram or YouTube channel. So I think it's December 2nd and 3rd. It's like $10 ticket to get in. It's all online, and apparently it's on some platform where there's going to be all kinds of cool stuff going on, and there'll be shopping. There's 12 designers, I think, involved. There's shopping there with like patterns that'll, I think, be released elsewhere, but like they're exclusive, I think Stephanie said, for at least the first year. So there's shopping in that first, during the Jingle Ball. From these designers. You can shop for their exclusives and stuff. There's like meet the designers. There's apparently entertainment. There's going to be like stitching tables you can join, which sounds kind of like a group Zoom kind of thing where you get to, sorry, itchy nose, hang out with other stitchers. It sounds like they're doing a good job of kind of trying to make sure there's stuff going on 24/7. So, well, all 24. It's like a 30-hour event. But so that people across the globe and in different time zones will have things to do too, not just in the middle of their night. I was like, it's $10. I don't know, let's sign up and see what it's like. But I appear to also have gotten into a berry finishing class with Erica Michaels. So I need to finish a berry. So I know what she's talking about. I mean, I've never done a berry, so I've never finished a berry. Looking at it and having the sewing experience I do, it doesn't look that hard. It looks like I'd be fine, but I still wouldn't mind taking the class and maybe getting some tips and stuff ahead of time, you know, so I know what, maybe get some good information to help me through it. I actually, when my stitching bug was kind of in the tanker here over the last few weeks, one thing I did was kit up a bunch of smalls, like going through fancy floss and pulling colors for smalls and things. And a lot of the smalls I pulled floss for were berries. I'm on a berry kick. Gonna work on that. I think that's all the stitching I'm gonna show you. Also, I'm gonna talk about plans and other various things. But I think that's all the like projects I wanted to show you, I think. Okay, what else? So I wish I could show you the retreat piece. I really do, but I can't. So going forward, what I'm going to be stitching on. I'm still going to be stitching on Mirabilias. I also, though, am on this like huge Christmas kick. I don't know exactly why or where it came from. I've been in like the Christmas spirit here for weeks, which is not normal. I am typically much more of a Halloween kind of person. Love Halloween so much. It is the best holiday. I actually did, yesterday I did a like fancy autumnal tea for my family. It was so fun. I made these like amazing sandwiches, and I made something called apple roses as like a dessert. They're like these little mini handheld apple pies. They're amazing. I don't know if any of you are familiar, I'm sure some of you are familiar with Victoria magazine. I don't subscribe to it, but it's something I'll grab an issue of here and there, like at the, you know, grocery store or whatever. And they had all these amazing like autumn tea sandwiches and stuff, and I was like, I'm doing that for my family. So we had this huge amazing day yesterday. I made pumpkin bread, which then you use on some of the sandwiches, and it was amazing. And then tonight we're doing like a little bit of a Halloween party for some friends where I make like all kinds of goofy, spooky looking food. But I actually have a second loaf of pumpkin bread. I made in one of those like fancy pans that puts like pumpkins and leaves and things on the top of the loaf. Anyway, I'm serving that and some cupcakes, and it's gonna be great. So I love Halloween. That's the point. But lately I'm in like a major Christmas mood. Like all I want to do is stitch Christmas. So I definitely have it on my docket to start the Nora Corbett 12 Days of Christmas. I have that pulled out and like ready to go. I'm a little bit nervous about how it's going to turn out because they're slightly different sizes. And I don't want to make a mistake in how they're framed out. I might end up going in and kind of framing out all of them before I stitch the inners of them so that I can make sure that I like the way they're placed on the fabric because they are slightly different styles. And the math isn't hard, but I found it a little bit like mind-boggling. Just trying to figure out exactly how to make sure everything's placed properly, and I don't want to mess it up. So that's getting started ASAP. I do need to keep working on the retreat piece. I also, so I'm going to show you, I have this book. Some of you may have seen it. Stitch the Halls. This is, I don't know where, I probably got this from Pearl Soho or maybe off Amazon. I don't know. But this has, a lot of what's in here are things to stitch on using waste canvas on wool felt. Like there's, I don't want to show the instruction page. So there's these mittens that you stitch on with waste canvas, and then you pull the waste canvas out. I did go ahead and order some waste canvas, so I can do that if I want to. There's this little like stocking ornament. Same thing. Stitch on it with waste canvas. But this is what I want to do. Oh, don't blow it out. Oop, don't want to show the instructions. So, these are all little treat bags, so they're done on 32 count linen. I do want my treat bags to stay this size, so I actually need to order some 32 count linen. I have some, but not enough to do all of those. You need a much larger cut. So you stitch it just on cross stitch linen. Here's a picture of like a close up of some of them. You stitch it on cross stitch linen, and then you make them into these little bags, and then you can, it's like an advent calendar. I don't know how I will display mine yet, and I think I'm probably going to display ours at our cabin. There's actually 6 different designs for trees. I'm also going to do mine a little bit differently. I'm going to get some like light blue, like grayish blue background fabric, which to me is more like winter color. Like I like the idea of this, but my style would be a little bit different. So I'm going to do a blue background, and then I'm going to pick out lots of different greens and browns from my fancy floss stash. So there's 6 different tree designs. You stitch each one 4 times to get your 24 bags. And I have lots of ideas for how I might want to display them. I'm even thinking of doing little hooks. We have like an open stairwell at our cabin. Even thinking about doing like little hooks and displaying them like going up the stairs, like hanging from, it's like a big wooden handrail. So they would be hanging on the room side of the railing. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't think I'm going to display them like this. We also have like a little wooden, I got like a little wooden Christmas tree set. It's small, it's like a tabletop tree, and it's just wooden dowels that you like stick together. I don't know if these are too big to hang on that tree. I think they probably are. We might be able to hang some of them on the tree. Anyway, that's just, I've been trying to come up with good Christmas ideas for at our cabin, because sometimes we spend part of Christmas or winter break at our cabin. I'm not going to do like, we do real trees. I'm very anti fake tree. Again, no offense to many of you who do the plastic trees, the fake trees. I'm not trying to bash all of you all. It's just not the right decision for me. We do a real, They're all real, but you know what I mean. A actual tree chopped down from the woods, or from a Christmas tree farm at Christmas time. But I'm not going to do that. I only do that here in our home in Pittsburgh. I don't do that at our cabin. But sometimes, I think like, was it last year or the year before? We were actually at the cabin for Christmas. So I think we like celebrated Christmas early here, but I still wanted to do something on like actual Christmas morning. So that's why I bought the little like dowel tree. Like I wanted to have some stuff there, right? To still make it feel festive. And that's why I think these little bags would be great. We have a mantle there. We could probably also do hooks in. That's a lot of hooks. But anyway, I think it would be awesome. I really like that idea. And it's a sort of thing that I can work on slowly. No, I mean, I have no illusions about getting it done for this year or anything. But it would make a great travel project. They're like these really simple tree charts. Picking different colors, you know, of green and having fun. This is another thing in here that I really like and I would love to do. So this is felt, wool felt, that you embroider or you cross stitch on using waste canvas. And then there's snaps and you put them together into one of these chains. I'd love to do that at some point. Here's a close-up of like what they look like on once they've been embroidered on. Some of them are just backstitch. And then you snap them together. I've also heard, I just want to say this because I want to say it. I've heard people getting really confused about felts lately. So I'm just going to throw this out there in case any of you are interested. The felt you buy in the craft store is mostly or entirely made of polyester. It's not actual wool felt. Wool is a material from a sheep. It can be felted or not felted. Some wool is felted, some is not felted. Felted basically just means that it's been shrunk. It's been shrunk together so that all those fibers, they're no longer going to pull apart. They're all locked into each other and like thick, and they have that kind of felt texture to them. But you can get wool, like wool applique that quilters often do. You can do that with just plain wool or wool felt. But the wool felt you buy in like a quilt shop is usually real wool, whereas the wool felt you buy at like Michael's or Joann's is typically polyester. I've never seen them carry like actual wool felt. Anyway, I had somebody the other day, I heard them say that the wool, I heard them say, they seem to think that wool and felt were two separate things. Real felt is made from wool. Give me just a moment, please. Sorry. Husband's messaging me something. And I need to answer his question. Anyway, wool and felt. Felt is like a type of wool, or it can mean the stuff you get from Joann's. But real wool felt is a thing that you can get. You usually need to go to like a quilt shop, or I've gotten some from Pearl Soho. I love Pearl Soho. I've never been there in person, but their website's phenomenal. And they carry some of those more unusual items like wool felt. You can get it in different thicknesses, which is really nice. I made an advent calendar using wool felt several years ago. And I wanted the real stuff. I wanted real wool, not the acrylic stuff. Okay. So what else have I done? This isn't a lot, but I'm going to share. So this is a hat that I made. It's hard to see because it's such dark. So some people, I know some knitters, always have like a pair of socks on the go. I always have a hat on the go. I always have one of these hats on the go. This is just a slouchy hat pattern I got from Ravelry. If any of you want me to actually get the details on it and let you know, I will. This is my favorite hat pattern. I always have at least one of these going. It just uses part of it doesn't use the whole skein of sock yarn. So it's, oh, I find this is the weight of hat that I want to use when I'm exercising outside in the winter. It covers my ears, it gives me some protection, but it doesn't overheat me, right? Like it's just wonderful. It's sock yarn, it's easy to wash. I always have these going. So the pattern comes in like 4 or 5 different sizes, I think. And the pattern originally calls for stripes. I just do it without the stripes. I just use 1 skein of a variegated yarn and knit away. It's easy. It's like 1 to 2 inches of ribbing, and then it's a further 5 to 6 inches or longer if you want it slouchier of just straight stockinette, and then it's some shaping for the crown. So this is I have so many of these that I've made. This is I'm always working on one project. So if any of you are knitters out there and you wish you had a project like that, but you're maybe not a sock knitter, or like me, you don't find socks to be like as mindless as what you're looking for, this hat is amazing. So I just wanted to show you that. I need to wash this and get it finished. The other thing I did, and this took an entire day of my life, I made a quilt block. I actually made it twice. This is out of Farm Girl Vintage too, from Lori Holt. So I needed to make a block out of here to gift to somebody and for like an exchange. And I let my son pick, this needs to be trimmed, it's a mess. I let my son decide which block from there we needed to make, and it's a 6-inch finished block. He didn't choose something like nice and easy. He didn't choose, okay, none of these are hard. It's always just following the instructions. I don't mean to put anybody off from any of these blocks. I've done the rooster before. So you could have chosen the rooster or the cat or the bee or the mixing bowl. I kind of wanted to do the mixing bowl because my son loves to cook. He chose the scarecrow. He chose the thing with like 1,000 pieces in it. It took me the entire day to do these 2 blocks. He helped some too. So I'm so proud of it. I want to show you. I messed it up so bad. Like I kept picking, like sewing things to the wrong color, to the wrong fabric. I kept messing up this directional fabric. I just wanted to make sure all of the stripes were going vertically. I wasn't going to try to like match them up or anything, but I wanted to make sure they were all going vertically. Totally messed that up. I cut half of them horizontally when they, it was just a mess. Because I was looking at the picture trying to figure out which direction those pieces were in when they're actually used, and kept getting it wrong. I sewed this hat on, the top part of the hat upside down at one point, so the stripe was on the top. I still need to do the embroidery and add the buttons. There's like a little face you put on there and some buttons for the overalls. But I love my little block. This one's done with all Lori Holt fabrics. I do like Lori Holt a lot. I'm not as much of a Lori Holt junkie as some people, but I do like her stuff. It was really fun. My son and I actually went to my cabin for the weekend, just the 2 of us, and we spent the whole day Saturday hanging out and working on this. And he made all the color choices, and I think it looks amazing. I think he did a great job. Again, I have to trim all the threads off. So I have 2 of these. One is going to be gifted to somebody, and then the other one is he's having it made into a pillow. I put like a border around it. He actually sewed what's going to go on the back of the pillow, and I got a pillow form, so I just need to sew his pillow together. So yay, that's done. Looking forward, yeah, I'm gonna do a lot of that. I'm gonna be working on the retreat piece. I'm gonna be working at Mirabilia's. Now that I'm coming down here more, I want to get back to working on my Teresa Wentzler routinely, and I'm gonna be working on some Christmas stuff. I also got, so I got these. I got a few new charts. I got these and I got the sleds to put them on. I thought these would make great Christmas gifts. I might keep one or two for me and give some of the others away. I'm not in a rush to try to get that done for this Christmas, but I can stitch on these now while I'm in a Christmas stitching mood. And then kind of like that finish I showed you, right? They don't have to be gifted this Christmas. I can finish them up anytime I want to and give them as a gift for whatever year that is. I also got these strawberries. So I'm in a strawberry and Christmas mood. These I would do for myself. There's one with Santa and one with a snowman. And this is from Tralala, Fraise de Noël. And I also got this. I got these little stocking ornaments. I don't know that I'll get them done for this year, but I want to have them. I like to do them, especially this top one. I like that with the wreath. I want to do that one. I also have, I got a stocking kit that I want to do. My kids already have stockings, so do my husband and I. But I thought, and they're not cross-stitch stockings. There's no way I could commit to doing cross-stitch stockings for 5 people. That just wouldn't happen. But what I might do is do a cross-stitch stocking and put just our last name on it as like a family stocking. I'm thinking about doing that. But the other thing that I have, oh, I don't want everything to fall. The other thing I have on tap is for the Kit and Caboodle sale for November. I think I'm going to start this. This is Balloon Glow. This one's readily available and I think pretty popular, and I don't know why, but it's been like screaming at me lately. I think my daughter would love it, and yeah, I think this is going to get started this month for the Kit and Caboodle sale. There's one other thing I wanted to share. I was talking to a woman the other night in a Zoom group, and so I'm getting notifications from my husband. I met a woman named Kylie. She's So What Stitcher. I'll put this information down below, but she actually has a retreat she's planned coming up in a few weeks in South Carolina. It's November 17th to the 20th in Murrell's Inlet. She has room in this retreat. She's like rented out a house, and she I think is having trouble getting the word out about it. So I'm just trying to help. Her website is KylieKiteArt.com. Again, I'll put that below. If I lived in South Carolina, I would be hopping on this in a heartbeat. So you might want to go check it out. Check out our website or message her and get some more information, see what it's all about. Like I said, I think it'll be beautiful and down there this time of year, and I would be hopping on it in a heartbeat if I could. I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you want me to look up any of that information that I'm missing, let me know. I'd be happy to do that for you. And I hope you guys are going to have a good Halloween tonight. You guys probably won't see this until tomorrow. I hope you guys have, sorry about the clap. If you're wearing earbuds, that probably hurt your ears. I apologize. I hope you guys do have a good Halloween tonight, even though you won't see this probably until at least tomorrow. And yeah, enjoy yourself. Happy stitching. Hopefully now that kind of crunch time for what I needed to do for the retreat is done, hopefully I'll be coming back a little more regularly, and hopefully be able to stitch a little more regularly. Hope you guys have a good holiday, and hopefully I'll see you here soon. Bye.